Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today I'm going to be tying pretty much a classic Adams. This is the classic wing style as well. And you have a couple of little hen feathers here for the wings. For the wings, there's a technique you can use that I learned from Charlie Craven. You know, that guy, he really knows how to do his stuff, and it really makes the wings easier to place. And once you get the technique down, I mean, it's pretty much spot on for whenever you set those wings. I'm going to be tying it today on a Timco 100. It's nice and easy, nothing too crazy there. And let's get started. This is going to be a size 16. Go ahead and get my thread started. So you can divide your hook up into fourths, right? So where that bend starts, right next to my nozzle here, is about where the barb starts, and you go forward, right? So if we got these in fourths, that's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, kinda. I mean, my bobbin's a little, the nozzle is a little longer. 1, 2, 3, is a little more. We kind of want to get into that third part, right into it, not too far, but right into it. And that's going to be an index point for where we're going to tie our wings in. So go ahead and start my thread going back. Clip out the excess. Just dress the hook. And I'm going to stop about where that bend is going to start. Maybe I get one more wrap in. Now today I'm tying this with a Cree feather, but if you don't have Cree, you can use a brown and a Grizzly. Since I'm not using a brown and Grizzly, I'm just going to use my Cree feather to kind of measure, make sure I've got one where the tails are a little bit longer than the whole hook. I'm going to pluck out, what is that, about 10, 15, something like that. Nothing too crazy. We'll get them pushed out from the 90 degrees, stroke them down, grab the tips, pull the feather away. Now from here I'll measure about as long as the hook here. And I'll capture those in with one pinch wrap. Ooh, gotta get that right. One pinch wrap, and then I'm going to go underneath and then pull tight. And as you pull tight, it should set that tail right where you want it. This has got a little splayed, so I'm going to redo that. Under, and then nice and tight. Now, just like Charlie did in his video, I'm going to start with the tail instead of starting with the wings. Bring my thread back up to the index point, and I've already got 2 hen feathers pulled from the hide. They should be about side by side, and you want to shoot for one, a couple of them that are about as wide as the hook gap. I'm going to take those and I'm going to put them back to back, so that's shiny side to shiny side. And I can use my fingers to manipulate the tips. That tip is bad, so I'm going to find me another hen feather. Make sure it's about that gap before I pull it off. Take my 2 good ones. Now I'll save that bad one because I can use that as a wrap for a collar of some sort. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure those tips are aligned. You're going to want to put it at the very front of that hook, transfer it to your other hand, and you're going to want to trim this. You want to take your thumbnail and go all the way back to where it's the full hook length. So that means from the tip to where that bend is. So full hook length. You're going to want to take that feather, cut it straight across. You can just take those, just get them out of the way, those extras. Now you're going to want to set that on that index point. I still got a couple extras in there, so we'll get those out. Set that on the index point, and you're going to want to squeeze the hook and the tips at the same time. Add one more. So squeeze the hook and the tips at the same time, and then you're going to want to do a pinch wrap. Right over the top, straight down on those wings. One, and then two. Then you can let it go. And mine's a little further back than I wanted it. So it's a good chance after those two wraps to check what work you're doing. One, two. Let's check. Still a little back. Once you get this technique down, even though it can be difficult, it will set these wings perfectly. One, two. Okay, now I feel like I'm doing better. All right, perfect. Then what you can do is you can take another size, same size hook, and you can measure it against those wings, and it should end up being a shank length long, which is about what I'm looking at where I want it to be. It's about a shank length long. If they're a touch long, that's okay. And you come underneath, you sweep them up, and you can build yourself a little thread dam right up at the front. Just a little one. These wings are soft, so you don't need much. And then you can tie the rest of it down. Once I've got that done, I'll go ahead and start with my Adams Superfine. And you want just a wisp of it. Just a little bit. You don't want a lot here. It's always easier to add than it is to take away. So once you get that set, push it down just a little bit. And go ahead and start our dubbing. I want to pretty much start, loosened up, pretty much start where that tail begins. We can start working our way forward. As you can see, I'm doing a couple wraps forward, then one kind of back to go ahead and build that taper. Need a little bit more. Kind of build a little bit of a shoulder here. Just like that. Then I'm going to take a appropriately sized hackle feather. And this one is in Cree. Strip some fibers off. A little bit more, a little bit longer than I need. And I'm going to tie it shiny side toward the hook. Make sure it butts right up against that, shiny side towards the hook. This one kind of is just a tad long for where I want it to end. So I'm gonna bring my scissors in and give it a trim. That's even just a tad long. There. Sweep my wings back. As I step forward, I can do another little push there. And I want to stop just a little bit shy of the eye of the hook. I'm going to go ahead and start my wraps right up next to that body. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 right up to those wings. And that's okay if I butt up against them just a little bit, because I'm gonna sweep everything back and I'm gonna try to ride those wings right up next to them. That's 1 total, 2, 3. Now from there, I'm gonna bring it straight up, and then I'm gonna bend it forward. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I come in with my scissors, nice and sharp ones. Trim that wing out, or trim that hackle out. Got a couple left over. And from there, pull everything back. And I can start to build a head. Once I got my head built, just a slightly smaller than I want it, myself a 5-turn whip finish. There 6 to get the head the size I want. Trim my thread. Realign my hackle. I can spread my wings, and you have yourself a nice classic Adams dry. Looks like I got some dubbing that wants to be a fool. Come nice and careful and clip that out. Man, that camera really shows it all, doesn't it? There we go. Extra trim here, there. And there we go. Nice, classic wing style Adams. As you can tell, I tried to get a little more hackle lines behind the wings than I did in front. And from there, take this, turn it. You can see, once I get it straight, those wings are pretty much set perfect. Can't ask for much more than that. And that is how you tie a nice classic Adams dry. Thank you guys. Hope you'll have a great day. Tie some up. Let me know how you do.